I can't sleep when I lay in bed. Too much thinking in my head. I don't know what to do anymore. But come on now, tell me the score. Is there anything I can do to get out of these tragic blues? I'm a victim of circumstance. I never really had a chance. I lay down and stare at my feet. You know the world has got me beat.
Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking about autism. We have staff from the Carlos Vieira Foundation, and we also have a parent with a child living with autism as well. So welcome to our show. We got a great one for you today. Welcome Bethany and Kathy to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Welcome. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about the Carlos Vieira Foundation.
Yeah, the Carlos Vieira Foundation was established in 2010. Carlos and his wife Asia and several of their friends, they decided that they had a passion for fundraising and giving back to the community. And Carlos is a race car driver, so nice. He was out on the racetrack, with his friends, and was approached to race for a cause and a purpose. And so back in that time, it was 2007, I want to say, and they just went out into the community and started hosting dinners and, tri-tip dinner drives and, going out to the racetrack and, funding, raising funds. They raised over $51,500.
Wow.
And then decided, well, this is becoming much larger than the small fundraisers that they were doing, and so they wanted to turn it into a foundation and give back to the community. So in 2010 it was established, and it's been going strong ever since, growing and growing every year. So.
Wow. So do you know if he had any prior experience with autism at all, or it was just something that kind of...
He had a secretary at the time who had a son on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And she was a single mom, and he saw the struggles that she was dealing with, and so he wanted to help her, but more than just one family, he wanted to really help the cause. And so he started donating to Autism Speaks, Families for Effective Autism Treatment, Merced Challenge Family Resource Center, and other places like that to really help the whole cause in general. Then we've also established a direct help grant program that helps individual families as well.
Oh, nice. So tell me, how did you get involved with all this? Because it's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so passionate for what I do. I was an office manager in a great firm, and I had previous history in nonprofit work, and
nice.
So the person who actually was in my role part-time at the time became a national best-selling author.
Oh, nice.
And she called me out of the blue one day and said, "Bethany, what are you doing these days? Do you want to come, work for a great company and a great foundation and, really help to take things to the next level?" And so I did. I had no clue as to what I was getting involved in on the scale of what I was getting involved in as I did it, but man, every day it grows, and every day my passion and love for what I do grows as well. And I get to bring my family to a lot of our events that we do to fundraise for, and they teach them the sense of giving and being part of something larger than yourself. So it's so motivational and so moving, and I'm very happy to do what I do.
That's awesome. So did you have any experience with autism at all when you started the organization, or?
I did not. I actually didn't. I had no previous experience, and just learned a lot through a lot of reading and a lot of personal interactions and meeting wonderful people like Kathy,
yes.
who always shares their experience and their story. And so with our grant program, I actually process the grants, and so I get to read the diagnoses, and I get to see
nice.
a lot of the experiences from people on care teams, who work with these children every day, and it's so I'm so passionate about it because there's so many different types of diagnoses.
Yes.
It's a spectrum, and so you have some children who are, nonverbal, and then you have some very high functionings, and their needs are very, very different. And so, where we'll grant something one day as, therapeutic writing lessons to swimming lessons to iPads or RPM therapies or doctor visits or things like that. It's incredible. It's good experience.
So I think everything that you're saying is really good, because I think that society as a whole, and it's funny too, because before we actually got started, I was sitting here thinking to myself about how just any challenge physically or mentally is starting to come to the forefront a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, back maybe in the days, it was a lot of people were scared to talk about any mental illness or anything that may have any physical effects to a loved one or somebody they know. But now you see organizations like this and other organizations who are being champions and going out in the communities to raise awareness and offering help to family members with, people that have autism or any other type of mental health, issues and things like that. So I think what you guys are doing is awesome, because it's important.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we do find that a lot of times people are afraid to come out and talk about what their issues that they're facing. And so we hope through many of the programs that we have with our foundation, as we're going to talk about throughout this interview, is that we want people to be able to be free to express and share who they are and where they come from, and that every mind matters.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit more about the Race for Autism and your direct grant help program that's associated with that.
So the Race for Autism, again, was started back in 2007, but then, so it's our longest standing program that we do with our foundation. But basically, we raise money all year long. We have multiple fundraisers that we do out in the community, and the funds for the Race for Autism stick with the Race for Autism Direct Help Grant, as well as other autism-related type charities that we donate to as well. Yeah. So the Race for Autism it's our largest campaign. We have a direct help grant program in 21 counties of California along the Central Valley. It goes from Kern County, Bakersfield area, all the way up to Shasta County, along through the Central Valley. And so we raise money in several counties throughout the state and donate back to these families. And it's for children on the autism spectrum, anywhere from age 1 to 18.
Wow.
And so they can go to the raceforautism.net, or my email or website are going to be posted later as well. And they can apply online for a direct help grant. The grant is for anything that the child may need to help them with their diagnosis. So it could be an educational, material. It could be therapies. It could be doctor bills. It could be, really anything that child needs. Something for stimulation, a trampoline, or sometimes weighted blankets or different things. So it's not up to us to say what those children need. It's up to that family. And so on the application, they have options to list what those items are that they're requesting, and then it goes to our review committee, and we process all the paperwork and ship the items directly to their home, or pay the bill directly to the provider.
So I like that you brought that to the forefront, because I know when we previously met, one of the things that stuck out to me when you kind of talked about this portion was even if it was hay.
Yes.
Even if it was hay.
Yes. Therapeutic writing for children is sometimes very helpful, and so it's expensive to take care of animals. Sometimes even it's expensive to do a lot of these things, and for a lot of times it's a single income family, or Social Security. Somebody sometimes the parents can't work, so they receive Social Security. So there are so many families out there that are struggling, and we have the opportunity to give back, and hopefully that this grant that we offer to them will help them in the smallest way possible. We want to make a big impact, but we know it's not much, but we want to do something to help them get through.
Yeah. So who qualifies? I know obviously the loved one have to have to be diagnosed with autism, but what other qualifications do the family have to meet?
You
for
know,
this grant?
it's very, very simple to apply. They just have to provide us their tax documents showing the child is a dependent. Right now, there's money. We have money available, so first come, first serve type until the funding runs out, and we hope that it doesn't run out. And that's why we continue to fundraise. So just as long as they have a diagnosis, and then if they're requesting an electronic device, there's a form that they have to fill out. Some of the items we require to have a referral letter from their doctor, just to make sure that that item is safe for that child, and that that we're not purchasing something, maybe a bicycle isn't appropriate for one child, but it may be for another. So we need to know from their care team that it's a safe item for them. It's very, very simple to qualify.
Okay. And if someone wanted to get involved by donating, how would they be able to, to donate to this particular cause?
Yes, you can donate to the Race for Autism on our website. Again, raceforautism.net or carlosvierafoundation.org. At the top of the website, there's a Donate Now button, or you can call me anytime, and I'll definitely take donations over the phone. And also visit us on Facebook to keep track of what our next fundraisers are going to be and things like that as well.
Awesome, awesome. And you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, thank you.
So, Kathy, how did you get involved with the foundation here, the organization?
I have a little boy who's 10. His name is Adam, and he was diagnosed back in 2008. And I went to a support group meeting, my first support group meeting, and at that support group meeting, I met the secretary that Bethany was just speaking of that worked with for Carlos Vieira, and we became very good friends. Awesome. And she is the one that told me about everything about Carlos Vieira's foundation and the grants, and helped me tremendously with that. And we were so blessed because it made such a difference for our family. When my son was diagnosed in 2008, my husband had been working for a company for 17 years.
Wow.
And they had closed their doors. So it was kind of, everything hit us all at once. And so the Carlos Vieira was a godsend. It was just beautiful.
Wonderful.
So when your son was diagnosed, did you guys... before that, did you guys sense that he may have some type of challenges going on or anything like that, or was it just...
No, he has regressive autism, so he was absolutely met all his milestones and until he was 21 and a half months. And then it was a sudden, about within 10 days. I kept saying something is not right. And I have an older daughter who's 20, and I have another daughter who's 17, and so... And I did daycare for 11 years, so I knew kids, and I says, no, there's definitely something not right. All of a sudden, and he was verbal and lost all his language.
Well, I will say this, just talking to you, I really, and I know we have not dived into everything, but I really do like your passion for autism and the ability to help your son.
Of course.
So I could just that fact, I mean, even when she was talking before we actually started filming, I was just getting like chills, like, wow, this is awesome, because a lot of parents, regardless of what a diagnosis may be, a lot of them struggle with that. I know, I've had people in my own family who never, except one, never went to get a diagnosis, which we clearly knew that they needed some type of help. And so for one person, unfortunately, it kind of led to her death, so to speak, And so when I got two siblings who, he just recently got diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. And I'm so glad he went to get the help that he needed. And when I talked to my mom about him and one of my other sisters, her response was, well, she knew something was going on, but she didn't get the help for them because she was concerned about what the family may think and concerned about what her friends may think, know. And it's sad because it did them a disservice all their lives. They made a lot of mistakes, things happened to them because they didn't get the help they need. So that's why I'm glad that there are families and parents like you
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
know, who gets down and get involved and you know, and really help the loved one and not be too concerned about what society think or family think, you know, because
Right.
really it's about meeting the need of the child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about Adam and just his diagnosis. I want to hear a little bit more about him because he sounds like he's amazing.
He is. He
Yeah.
is amazing. He's fantastic. And he's funny.
Yeah.
He has a great sense of humor. And so he loves riding bikes, which he recently learned how to do, which is
Awesome.
great. He loves watching people ride bikes. He loves to swim, loves water. Very common, very common.
Yeah.
And spending time with his sisters. I say he's got 3 mommies.
Yeah.
He likes Supercross.
He loves Supercross. Yes, we had a
Nice.
great opportunity, thanks to Carlos Vieira Foundation, to go and take my son to Supercross, and
That's awesome.
he absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And has posters on the wall from
Yes.
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. But you know, he had his struggles, and it was difficult at first.
Yeah.
And when he was first diagnosed, it was really hard. I always say it was like I got hit, like a bus hit me. I couldn't believe it. Like, how could this happen? You know, how can a perfectly healthy little boy who spoke, who played, lose everything?
And it just happened, just boom, out of nowhere.
Yes.
Okay.
And it
wow.
was very, very difficult for the family.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like you were saying, some family members, you know, and friends, and he's fine. And
Yeah.
I knew in my gut.
Yeah.
I said, no, I just know there is something. And so, I cried for a long time.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
we did. We took our time to we had to grieve that, and
Yeah.
it was really difficult. But then it was time to put my big girl boots on and
Yeah.
fight for my kid, because
Yeah.
if I wasn't going to do it, who was?
Exactly.
And I'm so glad, you know, and I'm so glad that we decided to just move forward and find help.
Yeah.
And we have tried and done many, many things.
That's awesome.
And we continue. I'll never give up.
Yeah.
Anything to make his life better.
I want you to speak about, because I know we kind of talked about where you kind of shared with me where people were kind of telling you to, like, oh, you know, don't move forward with this, don't move forward with that, and they felt like you was making a mistake, but you
Right.
fought through. Kind of talk a little bit about that, because I want you to bring that out, because there may be people watching
Right.
that may be facing those negative thoughts or those negative feedback. So I want you to be able to speak to somebody who may be in the same situation.
Right. We had, my son was in school, and it was, he went to his school and everything was going good, but I kept thinking to myself, you know, what if there's more? And I'm sure there's wonderful schools out there. And we were looking, he was with a really great teacher for 3 years. And then it was time to move him forward, and he had to leave that school, that preschool that he was in, and it was time to find him another location, another class that fit his needs.
Yeah.
And all the classrooms that I saw, I just didn't feel like they fit his needs. So I wasn't giving a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
And I had a crazy thought. What if I homeschool him? I pull him out, and of course there's many people out there who can't do that.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate that I was able to do that. And we pulled him out of school and started homeschooling, and it was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. And we
awesome.
never, you know, I say the whole family as a team came together.
Yeah.
And we do everything from, you know, he likes hands-on. So not only does he just sit in a chair and do, you know, what he needed to do what he was doing at school, but now he can do so much more. Where
Awesome.
we go for walks.
That's awesome.
We couldn't go to restaurants. That was a big deal for us. And so since he was homeschooled, that just became part of school.
That's awesome.
And 2 times a week, we'd go at 2 o'clock when it wasn't lunch or dinner, you know.
Yeah.
Crowds have gone, and he was able to learn how to behave and also slowly transition him into going to more people. Okay, it's getting busier, and just keep taking him, and now he can go to any restaurant. He's okay.
That's awesome.
You know, it's things like that I think so important.
Yeah. So how, in your opinion, how important is it for the family, especially the parents, to take matters into their own hands? You know, I mean, I know there's a lot of great, you know, people out there, teachers and
oh, yeah.
you know, and so
Definitely.
forth, and skilled. But how important is it? Because it sounds like that's what you did. You took matters into your own hand. If you would have listened to some of the comments, maybe Adam wouldn't be at the level that he is at where he is now.
Right, right. I did have many people tell me that I was making a big mistake.
Yeah.
When I was going to homeschool, and I'm glad I listened to my gut. And
That's
I always
awesome.
say, listen to your mommy gut, your
Mother
daddy gut.
intuition,
Yeah.
You know, if you feel in your heart that something needs to be done, or that you need to change something to help
Yeah.
your child, step out and take that risk. It's worth it.
That's awesome.
It's worth it.
That's awesome. So as far as the autism spectrum, what other advice can you give the parents, you know, of a newly diagnosed to someone who may have a child, and, you know, and they take their child to the doctor and they may hear that news? What advice can you give them, and what can you tell them? Because you've actually been through it.
I would tell them to never give up.
That's awesome.
And people with letters behind their names are going to tell you
Mm-hmm.
many things, but you are the mom.
Yeah.
You are the dad. You need to follow your gut, and
Yeah.
you need to I believe you have to have faith and
Awesome.
and keep moving forward,
Yeah.
and that's very important.
Yeah, yeah. I know. We kind of talked about this too. There's being more awareness around autism. You know, I recently went and saw a movie called The Accountant, which is such a good movie. And I think it really did. I think Hollywood did a good job, in my opinion, of just bringing autism to the forefront, so to speak. You know, it's a lot of you know, things in the movie that kind of deals not only with the main character, but other characters as well, who are very intelligent, and they got a little twist at the end as well. and you're going to be like, wow, this was her, really? You know, and so because a person has autism, doesn't mean that they're out of the race, so to speak. You know, I'm not sure with you guys about. My first exposure to autism was when I was working for an organization, and when the guy got on my caseload, I mean, the staff, they didn't really know how to meet his needs, you know, and I really didn't know in the beginning either. So, of course, I went and educated myself, and, you know, I was able to go to some of his doctor's appointment, and one of the things that really helped me was his parents. His parents, we communicate. I had so many questions for them as to how to help their son. And so one of the things that, you know, I told my direct manager, I said, we have to get the staff out of here. It wasn't their fault. They just was not trained.
Right.
You know, they didn't have the proper training to meet his needs. And he would have behaviors because he wanted to go out. He would always point at the door, you know.
Right.
And so he wanted to go out and walk, you know. And so the staff, they didn't really want to go out. It was cold. And so I'm like, okay, so getting him out the house was a huge decline in his behavior. You know, so he started going for a couple of hours of walk in the morning. He's in day program. They let him go for an hour walk there, and when he got out of school, we set it up where he can go for 2 hours walk out of school. He was very energetic, and so, you know, every person with autism, you know, we have to have a plan that's tailored to their needs, because each child is different.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, and so that's awesome that, you know, you're doing what you're doing for your son.
You know, and Adam is such a sweet child, and he has so much to say. And so Kathy, actually, one of the grants that she had applied for with our foundation was a therapy called RPM therapy.
Yes.
Nice.
And so Adam now has a voice that he can use, a way to communicate and share how intelligent and how much love for life that this little boy has. And so he's been a friend of the foundation for a long time, and I always love when we get letters from Adam with his story that, thank you for the Supercross. He really enjoyed the Supercross, and we do a autism barbecue, autism day barbecue in April every year that we invite all the families in the area to come out to our facility, and we put on the show and bicycle riders, and we have a lot. It's just a fun day filled with activities and things tailored for the children to come and just play, and for parents to be able to let their children play in a community where they can relate to each other.
Oh, absolutely.
And the kids are never judged based on if they have high stimulation times, and they're free to be who they are.
That's awesome.
At any time, and so it's so fun. But I think Kathy should tell us a little bit about RPM and what that's done for Adam.
Yes, RPM, Rapid Prompting Method, is what it's called. And a good friend of mine introduced me to RPM. And we took Adam, and I'll kind of bring up this little board here. So this is
awesome.
Typically what he uses to communicate.
Okay.
And at first, you have to do a lot of work at home. First, you start with choices. Yeah. So you will, for example, rip a piece of paper and give him 2 choices and have him point to a choice.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Once he was able to do that, then you go to 3 choices and ripping the paper, which helped him focus, and he would point to the one he wanted. Then from there, you bring up the board, and then you're going to have him use his board to, he would use a pencil to stab the letters. And so, and then it grew from there. Wow. Stabbing all the letters and of his choice of whatever he had chosen, and it continued to grow until now he has open-ended conversations, and anything he needs, wants us to know. He loves writing letters.
That's awesome.
And he's able to do it all through RPM. It has been an absolute blessing, and Carlos Foundation helped us with that as well, with the grant to get started on that, which was wonderful. And it has been for us. It's a miracle. I say it's a miracle.
See, it's that joy. It's that joy. I'm telling you, it's that joy. Just that joy, that fire you got to teach your son. And I'm thinking if more parents or more people in the community can catch on to that, because not being educated about autism or any other diagnosis, to me, people are missing out. Mm-hmm. You're missing out because you have a chance to really sow into people's lives and really help people grow in these areas.
Right. Assume intelligence. That's what I would.
Yeah.
Definitely always assume intelligence.
Wow.
And we always knew he was very bright. He just couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
So now he has a lot of catching up to do, and he lets us know every day.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah. That's awesome. So talk a little bit about, because I know you said that he had put something on Facebook recently, a message to the world or something you was talking about.
Oh, he did. Yeah. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing he wrote. It was very hard to hear.
Yeah.
And he... we were learning about magnets. That was every week I like to pick something, a theme that we're going to be learning about. And so we were learning about magnets. And at the end of the week, he does I always have him write what he learned this week. And he was saying how he learned about magnets, and he wrote a whole thing on that. But he said he was like a magnet. Magnets can repel or attract. Mm-hmm. And he says, I repel people.
Wow.
And that he hopes to change that someday.
Yeah.
Wow. And it was just touching because he was just showing how he felt. And when I got a great response from Facebook, I usually don't post much on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a busy mom, and but I could not post that.
Yeah.
But I did ask for his permission.
Yeah.
And I said, "You want mommy to post this? Because if you don't, I won't."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I want you to post it, Mom."
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay. And I think it's how a lot of these kids feel. I think they feel left out. I think because he hand flaps and he does things that look odd and look weird, and so people kind of, what is that? That's strange. And so he feels left out of a lot, and all he wants is to be just like all the other kids.
Normal.
And normal and have a life. He wants to play like all other kids. He wants to, have friends like all these other kids. So it was very touching.
Yeah. So I know being involved with the Carlos Vieira Foundation, it does give him a chance, and other people that is diagnosed with autism, it does give them a chance to mix and mingle with their own peers, so to speak, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, a little bit. And in our, at our fundraisers, we have families that come and, things like that. But also at this barbecue, this day that we do. But also our foundation, we like to provide resources.
Yes.
So on our website, under our Race for Autism page, we do have some resources in the communities, that people can go to have, classes or just help or, advice or there's several resources on there. So that's kind of the goal, is to be able to connect people together in the community and, just give the children a place on that special day to be who they are, and it's fun. It's great. It's good to see the families come together, and I always hear the parents say, "Thank you for giving us an opportunity for our kids to be who they are and not be judged," because so many parents feel like they can't share their story, or they feel like they can't take their children to the park, or they can't go places because sometimes their children are looked at, in a negative way, and it's hard. It's hard to go through that. It's hard to face that, I can imagine. So
it is. It's very difficult.
And it's that stigma that's attached to autism, and with that, I'm a very strong advocate for mental health or anything mental health related, and I think for that, I think it just a lot of people who lack education, lack information, and a lot of people are who has people with any form of mental health challenges, maybe it's in a family or friends or so forth. I think a lot of times they're just afraid. They're just afraid to admit that this is a reality.
Yes.
And since it's a reality, they don't really want to deal with it.
Right.
I have a nephew, and to this day, I still do not know what his diagnosis is. But I know that he is. He's definitely, there's some challenges there for sure. And my sister, she's done a really good job. Her and my brother-in-law are meeting his needs. But I kind of wish things could have been done a little bit more smoother, but they've definitely done a really good job at meeting his needs. He's involved in a lot of programs. He's involved in sports. He's in a special needs school. He's very smart, very smart. But it's unfortunately that a lot of people, because of how society has shaped things, there are a lot of people with autism or other mental health diagnoses. They would miss out on really great services like Carlos Vieira Foundation can provide for them. And it's unfortunate. So that's why I'm glad we're doing this particular piece, because this is the first time I've done a show on autism, and so I was excited to to actually do a show like this, so that people can really be exposed to the information and really hopefully get inspired to move forth if they have someone in their family with autism.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bethy, tell me a little bit more about the Race to Be Drug-Free program.
So our foundation, we have actually 3 major programs. The Race to Be Drug-Free is our next longest standing program, I guess, that we have within the foundation. And with this program, we have 4 free boxing gyms for at-risk youth in our community in Merced County.
Nice.
And so this is very important to us to give kids a place to have a safe environment to maybe sometimes they deal with, family members that may be involved with drugs or gangs or, and don't really have after school, where are they going? What are they doing? And so we wanted to give them a place to come and have an escape to learn, good habits and, work in boxing or, just kind of to have mentors there who can help them. We partner with the Merced County Sheriff's Activities League.
Oh, wow.
And those guys do a great job. It's, they help to find the coaches and, we have all of our coaches are volunteers and they
Awesome.
dedicate their time and energy and take these kids for a couple hours some 5 days a week, some 3 days a week. Each gym's kind of individualized. But, it gives them an opportunity just to come and be kids in a safe, good environment and learn good values and education. And so, anyway, we love this program. We also do things, occasionally we'll send speakers into schools and talk about, the importance of being drug-free. And then we also participate in, there's it's called Drugstore Project in Atwater for 6th graders, and they do it every year. And, it shows the children, the 6th graders, what life is like, some of the challenges you face if you choose to take drugs or use drugs.
Yeah.
And so they go through, it's very scary, these kids go through each different session in this drugstore project and, they hear all of the negatives and all of the things that are so hard and things that you have to deal with when you are facing drug use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they come to our booth and we show them an alternative. So instead of making these terrible choices and, facing these harsh realities, they can come and learn about boxing. And the kids kind of, they spar and show, their skills and stuff that they learn. So it's fun. We love this program. We do one major fundraiser a year to support it. It's called Gloves Not Drugs.
Yeah, I like that title.
Yeah, Gloves Not Drugs. And we've been so blessed because we've had Sugar Ray Leonard.
Nice.
We've had Evander Holyfield.
Wow.
And we're still working on finalizing the details. I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be finalized for who our 2017 speaker is going to be. But we have these professional athletes who come and, encourage the kids as well. And they're actually youth boxers throughout the day. It's a USA sanctioned event, so it's really good talent. We get talent from all over, even from out of state. And these young athletes come out and show, these amazing superstars what they've learned, and they get an opportunity to box. So that's our biggest fundraiser. So definitely look that up.
Yeah.
When you're researching our foundation, it'll be March 4th.
Okay.
This year, and the speaker is to be announced.
Yeah. I really, really, really definitely like that part of your organization because I grew up in an environment where there was drugs, guns, and just what you see on TV is what the life was about.
Right.
Very dysfunctional neighborhood, and we did not have everything that you just described. We didn't have none of that in my neighborhood, and it's unfortunately that a lot of people, and even some in my own family, fell prey to drug selling or getting addicted to drugs and things like that. And, I even had a brother who was killed by gang violence, and I think about just even as you talking about what if these type of program was available in my neighborhood when I was growing up. And I know you talked about the 6th graders being exposed to the consequences of doing drugs, but in my opinion, it's important. Because think about it, Hollywood paints a very glorious picture of alcohol use and drug use and things like that. And so if you have a child being exposed to that in the home on TV, those seeds are being planted.
Right.
And so if those seeds are being planted, then eventually those seeds will start to grow. And so if they're introduced to something like that, they don't see nothing wrong with it. But if what you guys are doing, you're combating the picture that's being painted, the glorious picture that Hollywood is painting about the drug use and stuff. And so I think that's good that they know the consequences of drug use, because there are negative consequences, obviously incarceration, physical health, mental health, and things like that. So, and you have to start young. You can't wait till they're 16 and 17 years old and they've been exposed or they've been using drugs, and it's kind of like not saying it's too late, but you'll have a hard time pulling them up out of their lifestyle. So
Right.
I think that those type of programs for me is really, really good.
What's really special as well is that we partner with the sheriffs, and so that's another really positive side to this, is that they're seeing the police or sheriffs in this case in a positive light, where they're being educational and beneficial for them, and they bring a positive side to law enforcement that sometimes these children are fearful of the law enforcement, and because maybe they've seen mom and dad get in trouble, or family members get in trouble. So it's really good to have that positive spin as well, with the sheriffs being a part of this program as well for these kids. And man, we've got some great sheriffs in our community, sheriff's deputies who get in there and volunteer their time as well to spend in these gyms working with these kids, and we could not do it without them. So we just want to thank, the Merced County Sheriff's Activities League as well for all that they do to help our foundation in this venture.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And creating that safe environment.
Yes.
That's really, really, really important. And so how important is it to have these volunteers? Like, do they have to be sheriffs, or do they have to be boxers, or can it be somebody who just want to donate their time?
No, we have some incredible volunteers. All coaches in the program are volunteer coaches. We have both male and female coaches who participate in the program. Some came up through the program themselves. Some others have, 20 plus years of boxing experience, and some are just very passionate in the community and have experience in maybe physical fitness and just kind of learned the sport of boxing to help these children. It's not necessarily competitive. It can be. We do take these children to the ones who grow through the program. They qualify to get their USA boxing card and go to different boxing shows and compete. And then others are kids who just come in and work out and do physical fitness and learn to spar or learn to shadow box, or just different things like that. And so it's at their own level, their own pace. They're not required to want to compete. It's just giving them a place that they can come and work out and be safe.
So how long has this program been up and running?
I'm not sure how long we've been a part of it. It's been definitely since well before my time at the foundation.
Wow.
And the McSal has been around for quite some time as well, but good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
No, I think it's awesome. That's what made me, because I'm thinking like, wow, just to have, because if you don't want to box, you can just come in and work out. I mean, just to be in that safe environment is needed.
Yes.
So I think that's awesome. Like, I probably wouldn't be the one to box out, but I'll probably work out for sure. So, So you guys just recently started a new program. Let's talk a little bit about that.
We did. And I'm trying to educate myself daily in this. It's called Race to End the Stigma.
Yeah.
And Race to End the Stigma is to help bring awareness to the mental health community and the stigma that may surround, people living with mental illness. As you said, so many people don't talk about their diagnoses. They don't talk about what's going on or what they're facing in their lives. And so we realize that that's largely in part to do with stigma. So this has become a very passionate part of who we are right now as a foundation, and our members have really gotten behind this issue, and we're educating ourselves daily on the mental health community and all that's out there, and how common 1 in 4 people have a mental health diagnosis, and so this is something that we are just really getting involved in. We're putting resources up on our website, currently educating ourselves as a board of how we can help, what can we do. We hope to maybe send mental health speakers into schools at some point.
Nice.
We're really not sure exactly what it is yet, you
Yeah.
know. But currently we've been raising funds and making donations to places like NorCal, MHA,
Yeah.
you know, and just groups that support the mental health community.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing in the Race to End the Stigma so far.
Yeah.
But we're happy to have this new program, and we look forward to doing more in that community as well.
Well, I know just by my involvement with you guys and just talking to you and meeting with you, I know you guys will do well. Trust me.
Thank you.
In this area, because the passion is there, the heart is there.
Yes.
Your organization has a heart for it overall.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you will do well.
Thank you so much.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the resource, because I was reading about the, and this really, I really like this, about the MedAlert Foundation, the Carlos Vieira Foundation. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that this is another component of resources that you guys provide.
Yes, so MedAlert is a local foundation as well.
Yeah.
And actually, Kelly, who is the one who did my job before I am in this role now, she worked for their foundation for quite some time. And MedAlert offers services, medical IDs, and so basically if you're ever injured or in a situation that you're not able to speak for yourself, then you have this ID that lets them know what your diagnosis is.
Wow.
And so first responders can properly treat and assist you. So we've been partnering with MedAlert Foundation for a while, offering that service as a part of our grant program. So we would help to pay for if somebody with autism wanted to have one of these IDs.
Wow.
However, just recently, they were able to acquire a grant.
Wow.
And so they are now currently offering, it's called MedAlert Found, or Autism Found, excuse me, and it's basically the IDs for anybody who has an autism diagnosis.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have them as a resource on our foundation page for anybody who has an autism diagnosis to, go get this free service, and and it's a great partnership. We're happy that they are friends of our foundation.
So how old do the person have to be? Is it any age, or is it?
I believe for the the Autism Found program, it could be any age, and you just have to basically, their requirement is you go online to the website, which we have a link on our website to their site. You fill out the application, and I believe the requirement is the autism diagnosis has to be listed first as their diagnosis, but then they can put on there any food allergies or any other things that that they may need. And this is incredibly important in the autism community, I think, because
absolutely.
Adam can't speak.
Yeah.
And so my biggest fear, and I know many parents feel the same way.
Yeah.
My fear was always to go somewhere and lose my child,
Yeah.
or he could not find someone and ask for help.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
And so he does have his
Yes.
That's what I was about to
he
ask you.
does.
Good.
He does. We actually got 3 different pieces, and so he has his little necklace, the tag, and we ended up getting him a bracelet as well and a little shoe tag. So
Nice.
he definitely, whenever we go anywhere, he has one of them on. So.
That's awesome.
And they offer several different styles of jewelry, and like she said, the shoe tag. So
for kids who don't like.
Yeah, if they take off bracelets or necklaces or whatever, and make it not safe for them, they have it on their shoe. So there's lots of options out there. But MedAlert is a great foundation, and we're very happy that they're friends of ours.
Yeah. So I know you talked about a lot of different services. So is this service provided only in certain counties, or is it multiple counties, or?
MedAlert Foundation is, I believe, even international. They're definitely all over the United States, but they are based locally out of Salida, California, actually. So they're a local foundation, and that's how we have that great partnership.
Okay. And what about some of the other services that you guys provide? Is it just in that one particular county, or is it?
No, our boxing service is right now just in Merced County. Our Race for Autism campaign is in 21 counties.
Wow.
And our Race to End the Stigma, hopefully we can just be breaking stigma everywhere, so we don't have a particular grant program or anything like that for the Race to End the Stigma program, but we know we want to spread awareness everywhere, so in all counties.
Yeah. So say for example, if you get a parent who, and I know it's probably a tough question, who may not meet all the criteria that may be on the, just say anyone in a grant application, are there other resources that can potentially help them with their needs? Or
So if somebody doesn't qualify for our grant program, we typically will, try to help them with finding a resource in their area. There's a lot of regional centers and services like that. So if they're out of the area or they have something that we don't necessarily have help with, I always try to give them some type of guidance and, a resource that may be in their area. But there's, Autism Speaks is a national foundation as well, and we partner with them a lot for resources, and they have tons and tons of resources on their website as well. So if I can't help them, a lot of times that Autism Speaks resource will be good for them as well.
That's awesome. So what? And this is a question to both of you. So what are you hoping to what are you hoping that society can do for people with autism? Like what do you see the future of children with autism going? Like what are you guys hoping we can do as a society to better serve the children or anybody that have autism or any mental health diagnosis? What do you want us as a society to be able to do to help this community?
So for me, I would just say love everyone. You don't judge a book by its cover. You never know what the diagnosis may be.
Yeah.
Autism doesn't look like anything. It doesn't have a specific look or feel to it, I guess, because it's a spectrum. And so, I could be sitting here with autism today and you wouldn't know that. So don't judge the book by its cover, and also just be educated, use your resources, take advantage of the services that are out there like our grant program and apply for the help if you need it, and just, love each other as a community, I would say.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Just be accepting.
Yeah.
And kind.
Yeah.
And I remember when Adam would have meltdowns. At one point, I had probably our lowest point.
Yeah.
He was having a really bad meltdown, and I was by myself, and I had the diaper bag and my purse, and everything fell to the ground, and everyone stared, and no one came to help.
No one came to help.
And I thought, I think people just need to be kind and lend a helping hand.
Yeah.
Because that's all I really needed that day. I just needed someone to help.
Yeah. Well, I'm really hoping that we as a society do more of our part. I do like the fact, because think about it, we have the internet, we TV, we have so much at our disposal where we can self-educate ourselves on different topics and things like that. Even, I'm in grad school, and I'm finding myself, when I study, and when I'm doing my research, I'm always, because I like to learn, and I'm always Googling something else from this research, and so it's there for us to take, and when we do see a parent or someone in a situation that you just described, we as a society, it is our duty as a community to come and provide that support. Maybe you just need a kind word to say, you know what, hey, is everything okay? Can I help you? Or do you need, can I just pick your bag up for you? Or whatever, at least the support was there.
Right.
But just not to, not to even offer any help, it's not okay with me, in my opinion,
They say it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it sounds like your family, has been a really good support system, and not just your children and your husband, I'm sure your extended family as well.
We do. Our extended family has been amazing, and we're very blessed. We're very blessed.
Well, we're running out of time, and I definitely, from the bottom of my heart, thank both of you for coming and just taking the time out for being a guest on our show. I know you guys had to do a little bit of drive, but for me, it was definitely well worth it, because I'm sure people that's watching the show are going to get a lot out of this. And that is it today for our episode of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular episode, or if you would like a DVD copy of this episode, or if you have questions about how to become a guest on this particular show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.
When I think of where I've been, the good times and the bad, on a scale of 1 to 10, either way I'm glad, 'cause I'm not alone. As I'm reaching for the phone, your voice is there, you really care, you're my comfort zone. Sometimes when I'm lost, crushed beneath the pain, though I can't afford the cost, I just smile and play the game. But there's a healing place where I cannot pretend. Your smiling face, your heart's embrace heals me again. So even when the storm is strong and I'm deaf to my own cry, I faintly hear a distant song, and I simply can't deny that I'm not alone. 10,000 times I've known my best bet is that first step for hope. Trying to stand tall, I'm haunted by the past. With my back against that wall, one thing is clear at last. The kind of love you show to me flows from an endless stream, with shores so wide it won't subside. My mind had never dreamed how I'm not alone. Even when I'm on my own, your gentle touch is much too much to let me roll. So even when the storm is strong and I'm deaf to my own cry, I faintly hear a distant song, and I simply can't deny that first step for hope. When I think of where I've been, the good times and the bad, on a scale of 1 to 10,